Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Shut Up Football. I'm Jeff Stoltzfus. That's Kevin. We learned a lot in week 1. Like, apparently, I have trouble saying the word asterisk. Asterisk. But there were no asterisks in week 2. It was a big week for rookie receivers. Marvin Mims, Jayden Reed, Puka Nacua, and even Charlie Jones made their mark last week. I saw more dancing, though it wasn't very good. But at least everyone wasn't doing a gritty, or grittying. CBS kept cutting away from the celebrations. You joy sucker. Your logo is literally an eyeball. All right, enough of that. It's time for the roast.
This is the main event. The field is ready. Let's get ready to run.
Damn it, Amazon Prime. Buffer! The Eagles' offense struggled early like a fat kid trying to take a sweater off, but the defense made up for it, fisting everything in sight. On the Vikings' punt return, fumble. Alexander Madison, fumble. Kirk Cousins, fumble. Justin Jefferson into the end zone, fumble. I think the Vikings must have heard the wrong rally speech.
Let's get ready to
fumble! Justin Jefferson's end zone fumble was a touchback. It gave the Eagles enough time to pull their heads out of their asses and get something going on offense. Jake Elliott made a field goal from the parking lot, and it looked like he just stole the last piece of cake from the break room. Kickers are adorable. The much maligned tush push made an appearance, but I didn't see much pushing from the tushing. More accurately, it's the peenie push, or the full frontal shuffle. Justin Jefferson's necklace fell off on the field, and he winged it at the sideline, killing their water boy. Don't worry, they still have Gatorade. DeAndre Swift had a career night rushing. Hardly fair since he was using his Green Lantern powers to throw up impenetrable walls. He had more yards than a yardstick factory. Cousins took advantage of a wounded Eagles secondary and found KJ Osborne all alone for a touchdown. The closest defender wasn't even on the screen. Was there one? Maybe they ran out of corners and sent in a random fan. Hard to cover anyone when you're tripping over cheesesteak gut. I was told Rashad Penny was at this game, but I'm going to need proof of life. The Vikings made a game out of it. All they needed was an onside kick, which was set up in a very curious manner. A very didn't give a shit first time playing football manner. One camera person absolutely had the ISO of that ball on lockdown. How's that ball shot going, camera 3? Fucking tight. I went to college. They kicked it directly to the Eagles. Was that the plan all along, or was the kicker full of whimsy? Cousins was threading needles like a spinster on amphetamines, but at 0-2, all anyone's going to remember is the Vikings are not serious people. AJ Green showed up with a Moses staff and performed the ceremonial murdering of a lamb. Rookie Charlie Jones returned a punt for a touchdown. But wait, there's a flag! What was it for? We'll never know. They picked it back up. Okay, keep your secrets then. Joe Burrow threw a touchdown to Jamar Chase, except it wasn't because Rock Ya-Sin ripped it free. He followed him to the Gatorade table and slapped that shit down too. Happy birthday to the ground. Y'all wanna fuck with my hand cobra? He'll bite you. Hand cobra. Lamar Jackson hit Nelson Aguilar for a score, and then he led the world's loneliest marching band. Yeah, really, get those arms swinging like a grandma going for a power walk. Burrow aggravated his leg again, but don't worry, he knows just how to treat it.
Kind of rub that thing out.
Not what I was gonna say, but sure, now's always a good time. Oh no, the team cocaine is gone. Where did it go? Haha, yeah, fuck yeah, woo, I love you, I wanna kill you. Last week, CJ Gardner-Johnson wore a Hawaiian blue ski mask. Fans followed suit, but Johnson showed up to this game in a new one. He looked like a bank robber who spent all the money on his next heist. Masks are so 2020, because we all died. Why did the Lions draft Jahmyr Gibbs? He barely saw the field. Even after David Montgomery left with an injury, I've got more fingers than he had carries. I look forward to watching him break out in 3 years after he's been traded to the Eagles. Let's keep that factory pumping. Daryl Tapp wrecked Jared Goff. It would have been very impressive had the ball not been 15 yards downfield already. Geno Smith suffered a bad call when the refs roughed things up.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 7. It's a 10-yard penalty. I'm talking to America here.
No, you are fucking up in front of America. Pete Carroll looked like a breakfast commercial. He was so animated. Get him, Pete. Sink those dentures into his ass. Gino took off in the wrong direction, like he was summoned on some urgent side quest. They dragged this one into overtime where the Seahawks won it. Afterwards, someone found a discarded mask, and it made its way to the locker room. Who was that masked man? Anthony Richardson started the day off with a touchdown run. C.J. Stroud was smothered and lost the ball after a
Peanut punch.
The Colts recovered, and Richardson ran another one in. He wasn't gonna get punched in the peanut.
You have to understand there's going to be some leakage up front.
What? I am learning so much about football. Nico Collins exploded for 146 yards and climbed the ladder for a touchdown. Anthony Richardson left early, and human jockstrap Gardner Minshew took over. Richardson said he started to get concussion symptoms, like seeing giant hamburgers in the end zone. I see them too. This was the second game Richardson left early. He's like a magician who parked in a loading zone. He performs a few tricks and disappears early. Kylan Granson had a touchdown. But was it? Was it? Was it? Even when the ref announced it, it still felt like a shoulder shrug. C.J. Stroud took off, and Kenny Moore launched him into space. I can see my house. Learn to slide. We don't need any more space junk. The Bears were wearing their prison jumpsuit orange uniforms. Mike Evans been taking judo classes. He shoved a defender into next week and broke off a long gain. The Bucks held a car wash, and Baker Mayfield showed up with no car. Fuck it, have a seat. Justin Fields found Chase Claypool for a touchdown, and he should have been arrested on the spot for the hope he'd bring Bears fans. Stinky, sneezy, let's go, Dopey. Doc, is he just naming dwarves? Fields threw the shortest, dumbest interception I've ever seen. Fields and Claypool colluded on one final steaming turd of an interception. If you're a Bears fan at this game, don't even bother going back to Chicago. Start a new life in Florida. Gator bites, crystal meth, and Disney can't possibly hurt worse than cheering for the Bears. Travis Kelce arrived looking like he just got off a prop plane from Miami, and he's ready to make the drop. Richie James lost a punt in the stupid sun, and it bounced off his shoulder. Justin Watson fumbled too. The Jags threw one backwards and lost it. The Chiefs chucked balls at Mahomes' feet. Then he threw an interception. This wasn't a football game. It was like watching a pair of woodland creatures try to play ping pong for the first time. It got so bad, the refs had to step in and whistle Mahomes down before he fumbled the ball again. The entire Chiefs defense tried to climb on top of Trevor Lawrence, and he's a strong lad, but I'm surprised his legs didn't snap like pretzels. Structurally speaking, the human body can't handle that kind of load. Late in the game, Calvin Ridley almost had a touchdown, but he was tackled by the goalpost. It was nothing but field goals and sadness for the Jags. After the game, Kadarius Toney said his foot was bothering him. Is he injured again? What is this man's body made of? I've seen thin crust pizza with more resilience. Turns out we've been saying Bijan Robinson's name wrong all this time. Luckily, there are no consequences. Ritter hit Quay Walker in the throat with a ball. That'll teach him. Arthur Smith saw some shit about to go down. What was it? Ritter hit Mac Hollins for a touchdown, but his heels weren't in bounds. Tiptoes don't count. Not in this league. The rule book clearly states, tippy 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 no. Fans were upset with defensive coordinator Joe Barry, seen here wearing the world's cheapest Bane costume. He let the Falcons get up on them. I have no idea what I'm doing, Batman. Jordan Love had a quarterback sneak so sneaky, it didn't involve the ball or the rest of his team. Go home, Jordan, you're drunk. The Falcons used a trick play to Mac Hollins, who patted himself on the head like a good boy. Let your teammates do that, Mac. Now have yourself a seat in a juice box. Welcome to Buffalo. And now for the plane that ceremonially drops chicken wings on fans. Don't forget the ranch. The first play of the game, Josh Jacobs was bumped to the ground. The defender used an offensive lineman to tackle him. That's next level. Josh Allen jumped crotch first into a defender's face. He marked him with his scent. Pretty sure you own that man now. Then he threw to Gabe Davis to continue his elaborate prank on the fantasy community. Derrick Henry's pre-game outfit looked awesome, but I swear to God, if he starts mariachiing around my table while I'm fingers deep in guac, no tip! Justin Herbert was smacked in the face, and he still threw a touchdown. The Titans responded with a bomb to Treylon Burks, and Derrick Henry ran it in. I don't know if Herbert just audibled, or if somebody gonna get it after the game. Perhaps he was protesting the systemic enabling of gun violence in this country. Do climate change next. Tannehill threw a touchdown, and finally, a dance I can do. This game went to overtime, but God had had enough. He sent the Reigns to wash them clean. Give me 2 of every animal, and Nick Folk. The Chargers dropped another one, and Coach Staley better start pricing U-Hauls. Stop me if you heard this one. Cam Akers was made inactive. He wants to be traded. Niners fans took over SoFi. I haven't seen this much red since I played Vivisection Mi Elmo. Balls were bouncing everywhere, and McCaffrey was making chunk plays look easy. Puka Nacua was catching everything outside of chlamydia. A heated moment between the teams, and a fan had to step in. Break it up, you knuckleheads. Thanks, fan. The Rams kicked a meaningless field goal to end the game and cover the spread. And spread sounds about right to me. This seemed like a get-right game for the Giants, but everything went wrong in a hurry. Josh Dobbs took off like a goddamn cheetah and ran for a touchdown. They were down by 20 at halftime. What did Coach Dable tell them at the half to get excited? Did he just jingle his keys? That works for my dog. Daniel Jones ran his big-ass legs. He looked like a gazelle had a baby with a bobblehead. The Giants pulled off a comeback victory, which was both equal parts thrilling and demoralizing to watch. Dak Prescott came straight from a sleepover. Did they talk about boys? I bet they totally did. This is Zach Wilson's 3rd year in the league. Hard to believe he's still just 12 years old. Micah Parsons absolutely mauled Wilson. Wilson took a beating. He looked like my grandpa when he talks about the war. Parsons needs to buy Zach Wilson a steak dinner and a nice Chardonnay before he climbs that far into his underwear. At least send him roses after. I'm surprised Wilson didn't retire by halftime. The Jets' offensive line should have all been wearing condoms. At least there would have been some protection on the field. The Cowboys absolutely destroyed the Jets.
Back streets back. All right.
The Cowboys are looking good, but let's not go too crazy. They haven't beat anyone outside of New Jersey yet. Russell Wilson came out hot and dropped more dimes than a trip to the Coinstar. Rookie Marvin Mims for a touchdown. Brandon Johnson had one too. It was all Broncos. Pack it up, you commies. But then, Wilson fumbled the ball and pointed to his danger witch. Brian Robinson had a game. Like the bacteria that farts in your Swiss cheese, this offense was creating holes. The Broncos tried to rip Sam Howell's head off. Nice try. It spins 360 like an owl. You heard me. Sam Owl. Next they tried Logan Thomas. You might as well give Kareem Jackson a tiki torch and a machete if he's gonna go headhunting. They kicked him out. Pack up your shit and hit the bricks, Kareem. The Commanders battled back. You'd be surprised how much human sacrifice can swing momentum. Terry McLaurin caught a touchdown, and the only thing scary was the dance he did after. What is that, some kind of shuffle? Marvelous. The Broncos had one last chance at the end. Wilson bounced the ball off the moon, and then it bounced off every player in the end zone like a hot potato. Brandon Johnson caught it for the score, but the 2-point conversion failed. The Broncos are now 0-2, and Sean Payton's off to scrub his Twitter timeline from all the shit he's been saying this offseason. The Patriots were in their old school unis, and Mac Jones looked like an old school guy. Like a business owner where we don't serve your kind around here, just rolls off the tongue. Chris Collinsworth compared Tua Tagovailoa to Dan Marino. You don't see it? What if they make Tua right-handed? No? How about if they add 3 inches and make him white? Still don't see it. What if we legally change his name to Dan Marino and give both of them tough guy mustaches? Like fucking twins, these guys. They spoke with Coach McDaniel at the half, but the slippery little bloke took off after, before they were able to smother him in honey and beat him with a bag of frozen butter. Football night in America has gotten weird. Belichick was displeased with a ref that was within eyesight of him, and he threw a flag at him. I don't think you can flag refs, but apparently I was wrong, and he was murdered. Raheem Mostert scored, and cool guy handshake, sumo stomp, Hadouken! At the end of the game, Mike Gesicki lateraled to a lineman who must have been surprised. I know I was when half the team tried to use him like a battering ram. Welcome to Fumblepalooza. Bryce Young was undressed, and everyone took turns batting it around. It's like watching your least favorite children fight for table scraps. Chris Olave took a 50-50 ball and improved his chances by catching it twice. Bryce Young threw an interception, but Adam Thielen reached behind him and said, "No ma'am and or sir," and broke it up. Young took off for a big gain. He's got moves like Jagger. And by that, I mean an arthritic octogenarian. We interrupt this game to bring you another game. The Saints-Panthers game was going on at the same time as the Browns-Steelers. ESPN tried to juggle them both like an overworked clown. I didn't wake up with ADHD, but I'm sure going to bed with it. I put on ESPN 2 with the picture-in-picture, but it created a black hole. Great, now I gotta deal with that. The first play of the game was a tipped interception returned for a touchdown. Deshaun Watson was stunned. He looked like he just heard no. Ah, fuck. Sorry, I was not prepared for that. The Steelers' offense looked like something I'd scraped off my shoe before entering a civilized abode. Kenny Pickett couldn't hit his receivers if his fist was stapled to him. Najee Harris ran like he was at the end of a second contract. Rub-a-dub-dub, there goes Nicholas Chubb. He suffered a leg injury and was forced from the game. In fact, they wouldn't even show the replay, at least not to us. The stadium saw it, and everyone gasped in unison. Good ESPN, just focus on the game. I can only take one tragedy at a time. Deshaun Watson was called for. Roughing from the passer? He grabbed the defender by the face mask. He did it again later too. This guy's hands were everywhere. The Browns rough late in the fourth. Ah, crap. Don't let the Browns be relevant. But like an underwire brawl, the Steelers' defense did all the heavy lifting. Pickett took a knee for the win, and it was the best offensive play of the night.
And now it's time for the soft pretzel of the week.
Yummy.
This week, the soft pretzel goes to this Falcons fan who showed up with a partial skeleton wearing a moldy cheese head on it and used a bullhorn to, I assume, berate the Packers and/or their fans. It's likely this man has family and friends, and he decided to test their allegiance to him in the name of trolling an NFL team. Kudos to you, sir. You've earned the soft pretzel of the week. And that's our show. Thank you so much for watching Shut Up Football. Leave your comments below, like, subscribe, say hi to your mom for me, and we'll catch you next week. Peace!
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
The first play of the game, Josh Jacobs? Yep, that's his name. No tip!